Stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin. And welcome back to the English Scientific Radio Show with your host, Jeff Spider-Man Mitchell. Jeff, your initial feelings, sir?
Well, it's, there's nothing more than what we've said on other shows, that these people, I don't want to even call them barbarians that do this these young ladies, and things that they've done. I've often talked about how brutal it is because they treat girls with total contempt. And of course, Judge Marsden, of course, everybody knows with Judge Marsden, he was the one that see Tommy Robinson that was outside the court. He thought he would make Tommy Robinson a bit of a scapegoat. He told the officers that was laughing and joking with the judge to go down and make up some flimsy charge and bring him before him. That's exactly what they did. Within 5 hours of Mr. Robinson setting foot in the court, there was no plea, no nothing. The judge sentenced him to 13 months in prison for contempt of court. And that was it. Well, that was actually overturned by a later judgment by 2 or 3 of the head judges sort of thing. But that didn't stop, Mr. Robinson going through absolutely horrific experience. He was quite safe in one prison, and they decided that this wasn't how they wanted to be for Mr. Robinson. His name really is what got him a lot of grief. So he was transferred over to probably one Onley prison, which is probably the worst prison. If you want to be sentenced, like a death sentence, and Mr. Robinson spent time in there. His life was under threat constantly. He was he got out. His legal team managed to get him out after about 2-3 months, and he lost, I don't know, 3-4 stone. He come out. As he said when he came out, he didn't realise how bad a state he was in until, I suppose, till he got home, got into his own comfort zone, that it all come upon him. And of course, he suffered PTSD because of the experience. So this is what happens when you go up against the establishment, the elitists out there, especially about the cultists of death. And that's what you're hearing today. That's what Dave and that's what Breitbart has reported on. These stories are nothing new. We've been reporting, myself and Dave and Tony, been reporting on these stories for, 10 years? The EDL's reported on it, been at places where these things have been going on. But that's it. This is where we are. And it's just one big cover-up after another. Look at the sentences. They should throw the book away. There should be no minimum, or they serve for 3/3. They said they should serve 20, 30 years hardcore, banged up, like Tommy Robinson, hard labour, like they used to have over in the United States, breaking rocks. That's what you need, the old chain gang, That's what they need to be on, all this bloody soft stuff for them, and they get out, and then they're licensed to do it again. Sorry, Dave, I went on one, but because I had to. I just had to.
It's understood, Jeff, and as I say, this is, you called the name of the judge, and, it's a corrupt judge who, in my opinion, should be standing trial himself for a crime against humanity for what he did. But it points up the fact that Pakistan is a focal point for some of the worst of the abuses that the young girls and some young boys in the UK and in other countries have endured. Okay, because of the particular, and still continue to endure.
This goes on while we're talking, while we're doing these radio shows. I guarantee you, there's some poor kid out there who's been dragged into some flat, who's drugged up, who's been raped by God knows how many of these people, and we are sharing it with you listeners. This is going on as we talk. As we talk, Dave, and I'm sorry to talk over you, brother.
Well, and the thing is, Jeff, that even the appearance of civilization in Pakistan is being protested by thousands of Mohammedans there, and of course we know, you and I, that they can, in Pakistan or any other Islamic country, they can put up whatever laws they want, but if it contravenes Sharia law, well, forget that. They don't want that. Okay, so and that's why we're going to do the stories we're going to do tonight, Jeff. And we're going to get right to the stories. Okay, now you guys heard how it comes home to the UK, and how it's coming home to other countries. All of this stuff from the nation of Pakistan. Okay, and I'm going to read you a couple of stories. I found these over at tr.news. You've got the link to that in the show page here, and we're going to start with one from the 28th of October. All right, now this has been going on for a while, guys. So we're going to bring this one to you. Islamists oppose Imran Khan and, get ready for it, guys, George Soros. See, this is why we called the show on Sunday the Piranha Effect. Okay, that's why we called that show the Piranha Effect, because they're starting to have a feeding frenzy on themselves. Okay, now here we go. Pakistan is a nation rife with religious fundamentalism and mental illness, the mental illness of Islam. Islamists oppose Imran Khan and George Soros. All right, now under fundamentally flawed, Pakistan is a hotbed of religious fundamentalism, radical Islamists, and jihadist doctrine that exports terrorism, there you go, listeners, all over the world. Pakistan has been complicit in funding, aiding, and abetting Islamist groups within its borders. In fact, any Pakistani government needs the support of Islamist parties to retain power. That's how bad Islam is in Pakistan. As a matter of fact, that's why Pakistan exists, because of Islam. All right. Earlier this month, Pakistan narrowly avoided blacklisting by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, an international anti-money laundering and terrorism finance watchdog. I don't know how they could have possibly avoided it, but we'll continue reading the story. Being put on the FATF blacklist ensures economic degradation, and Pakistan cannot afford to let that happen, not unless it's happy to become an economic pariah state. Well, they might as well, because they're pariahs in so many other ways. Even China, who has long viewed Pakistan as a viable economic and geopolitical ally, knows Pakistan must do more about its fundamental flaws. FATF's Chinese President Xingmin Liu said, Pakistan needs to do more and faster. Pakistan's failure to fulfill FATF global standards is an issue that we take very seriously. If, by February of 2020, Pakistan doesn't make significant progress, it will be put on the blacklist. And that's from China, guys. The cost of Islam, that's right there. The cost of Islamization. Here we go, guys. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit for this because we know some of the costs for Islamization, some of the prices that have been paid around the world. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan recently agreed to a bailout with the IMF. Now, you guys probably heard about this one. The International Monetary Fund, to keep his country afloat financially. However, in doing that, Imran will need to implement austerity measures. He will need to put in place restrictions on the financing of Islamist parties. Now, okay, I'm reading that again. He will need to put in place restrictions on the financing of Islamist parties, guys, and madrasas. That's very important, guys. Understandably, this has not gone down well with millions of fundamentalists who play a massive role in the political, social, and religious functions of the Pakistani state. So basically, they're having to comply with not giving fundamentalist Mohammedans money, and they ain't liking it. I'm going to continue. Imran Khan recently met with here you go, guys, get ready for it, delegation of the George Soros Foundation. Now, these are the same people, by the way, who fund Antifa and various domestic terror groups in a lot of our countries, who expressed their wish to work in improving quality of education through various projects in Pakistan. They also, quote, informed the Prime Minister of their expertise in taxation reforms. Now, as I scroll down, guys, I got to tell you, what their expertise is in sticking their nose in other governments and trying to influence elections and everything like that to push a socialist agenda. And it continues, guys. Imran Khan also met with the World Bank Chief Executive Officer Kristalina Georgieva back in April this year, again to discuss Pakistan's economic troubles and ask for a bailout. Well, here we go, guys. Now, get ready for this one. It turns out that Kristalina Georgieva, or Georgieva, whichever way you want to pronounce it, has only recently become the new managing director of the IMF. She will now oversee the Pakistani bailout. The trouble for Imran Khan is that Kristalina Georgieva is, get ready, a George Soros Open Society Prize winner. Who would have thought? There you go. The George Soros influence in this country. Islamists can count. Despite Islamists' penchant for murder and Islamic supremacy, they are not stupid. They can count. 1 + 1 = 2, knowing that Imran Khan is over a barrel with the IMF in terms of a bailout and the necessary austerity measures he will need to put in place. Also knowing that Khan is over a barrel with the FATF to avoid blacklisting, and finally realizing that Soros and company want to, quote, improve education, end quote, in Pakistan, they are in deep trouble. The fundamentals of their fundamentalism are under threat with, quote, re-education, end quote, economic blackmail, and intense pressure from China. So here you go, guys. What you've got there is Soros and China, all the lefties, trying to influence fundamentalist Mohammedans, and they ain't having none of it. Now, I'm going to continue reading this story. a coalition of 5 Islamist parties in Pakistan are demanding a, quote, true Islamization and the establishment of Sharia law in Pakistan. This cross-party group of Islamic radicals are led by Maulana Fazlur Rahman, the 66-year-old leader of Jamiat Islam. It sounds like a urinary tract infection. Oh, I do, yeah. Well, and that particular one.
You roll your tongue around the names. It's awesome.
Yeah, that particular Islamic party sounds like some kind of urinary tract infection. But I continue. A political party. A political party tied to the Sunni, Debani sect of Islam. So, guys, these are Sunnis, all right, okay? Debanis are responsible for the rise of the Taliban. There you go, guys. So that's the connection that they have, which should give you an inkling as to where they are on the theological scale. The Jamiat Islam has an extensive network of madrasas. That's schools, by the way, for people who don't know. Those are schools for the Islamic young. Kind of like religious schools for them, and mosques in Pakistan. All right, now just scroll down. You guys can see how it kind of is like a snake because it twists and turns.
That's what I call it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right, Jim. Right. Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. You just clarify. Millions of Islamists are set to march onto the Pakistani capital of Islamabad, led by Maulana Fazlur Rahman, to let Imran Khan know that should he sell out his Islamic base, there will be a repercussion. We can guess what type of repercussions they might be. Pakistan has a sizable, guys, this isn't hate, okay? This is just, you can get these figures from the United Nations, for God's sake. Okay, Pakistan has a sizable inbred population due to consanguineous marriages, which causes mental retardation. Add to the mix a high percentage of mental illness, then finally add a dash of Islamist intent, and hey presto, a cocktail of epic, disastrous proportions awaits. And guys, as I scroll down,
one more thing to that list, Dave, is they're banging their head on the floor 5 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Of course, that would develop all sorts of mental issues. So it's just one more thing to your list. Go ahead, brother.
All right, yeah, and of course, there's also the teachings of the Quran, the Hadiths, and the Siras. Okay, but to continue, now this is under retardation of a nation. All right, according to various that's in the story, Jeff. That's PR.news. You have to thank for that, Jeff. Okay, but that's the subhead. This is under. All right, but get a load of these figures, guys. Okay, according to various reports, Pakistanis are very inbred. Get this, over 82.5% of parents in Pakistan are first cousins. 6.8% are blood relatives. 6.3% belong to the same caste and family. But the good news is that 4.4% are married outside their families. Woo. Man.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the
Yeah,
oh,
man.
God.
Oh, my God.
So what we're talking about, 96% of them are interbred with their cousins. 96%. And only 4% went outside the interbreeding section. Oh, my God. They've been doing this for centuries, Dave. How bad is the retardation in a nation? Oh, I like that, retardation in a nation.
Oh yeah. And again, these aren't figures that some right wing hater website came up with or any of that other stuff. Okay, at least you can find some of this stuff on the UN website and places like that. Okay, and to read on here, Pakistanis suffer significant mental health issues. In fact, around 50 million people suffer from mental disorders in the country. Maybe inbreeding and religious despotism tends to produce mentally ill minds. Okay, that's the question.
So would you say that the nation is run by the asylum, Dave? Pakistan's run by the asylum.
Well, Pakistan is an asylum run by the inmates. I mean, because of Islam. I mean, we've seen this, Jeff. We've seen this again. Dr. Nikolai Sennels wrote about this in his book, How Islam Creates Monsters, and we've seen this. It has nothing to do with what their skin color is. It has nothing to do with where they come from. It has to do with the fact that Islam is basically beaten into them from childhood, and this is the result. Now, the last little bit of this story, okay? So watch out for the 31st of October, which we're going to read about here in just a bit, guys. No, not for Halloween, but for a million religious nut jobs descending on Pakistan's capital to protest George Soros's meddling. Should be fun. That's the base story. That's the story, Jeff, that the next one I'm going to read is based on, because the next one I'm going to read is pretty good. But that one, in a lot of ways, is a mind blower. Do you not agree, brother?
Well, yes, I do. But it's not surprising. We've known this, we know the statistics are out there. But when you get even the United Nations actually agreeing with the figures, it shows you how bad this Pakistan will never. I mean, what's mind-blowing, Dave, that this country has the technology of nuclear weapons.
Oh, I know, yeah.
How dangerous is that? They're more dangerous than North Korea, for goodness sake.
Dude, that's not mind-blowing. That's not mind-blowing. That's enough to make you need it. Blowing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in more ways than one. That's enough to make you want, need another change of, a change of underwear. If you think about it, Jeff, that you're absolutely right, guys. There's a reason.
This is ridiculous, that story.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, guys, there's a reason why Jeff is the host of this show, because honestly, I hadn't even thought about that, but he's absolutely right. These people, okay, North Korea is bad enough that they've got this nut job dictator and they have nuclear weapons. Pakistan, with this Islamic fundamentalism that they have, and, a large percentage of their population that are mentally ill, not just from Islam, but from other issues, because of, like, the inbreeding, they have nuclear weapons.
I mean, you can imagine it. They're sitting there going, I like this, in the way they talk, I like this red button. What happens if I press it? And they go, no, you're not supposed to. But it's shiny. Look at it, it's pretty. It's a pretty button.
It's got the red
God, Dave. And they're in charge of nuclear weapons, the most awesome weapons that mankind has ever produced. And we've let a nation of inbred, nation of inbreds. What did you say, Dave? What did you say earlier?
Well, it's just
retardation of the nation. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. How come we send them money, these people money, to develop nuclear weapons so that they can create? It seems like they're in the proceeds of creating the caliphate in Pakistan now, Dave. In Pakistan, they're ready to. They've got this group of people want the caliphate. They want Sharia law, Dave. They want Sharia.
Yeah.
It's bad enough as it is. God knows what it'd be like if that does happen. And you did hear the repercussions if nothing's sorted out. I don't like when they say that because you know something is coming down the pipe big time, didn't you know that?
Well, yeah, and that's, Jeff, why we played that story right at the first. It's not because it's, yet another Islamic child rape gang was prosecuted and sentenced in the UK. That's commonplace in the UK, very sadly. But that's the kind of thing that is going to become even more commonplace and widespread around everywhere. Yes, American listeners, including the United States of America, if something isn't done about Islam, okay? We're not talking about Muslims. We're not talking about dark-skinned people. We're not talking about any of that racist crap. We're talking about Islam, the ideology that creates this evil. An evil so bad that it opposes George Soros, who himself funds domestic terror groups. Jeff, now, I know it's just a shade early for you to call in, but if you would like to, before I get into the next story, which ties this up into a bow, okay, would you like to call in now and I can play the SHR Media promos, just give you a little bit of a chance there?
Yes, I will, Dave.
Yeah, okay, go ahead,
no,
Jeff,
go ahead,
and
Dave.
we'll
Sorry,
keep
mate.
this All right, okay, guys.
I'm just going to call back in then, okay, buddy? Be right back,
sure
ladies
thing,
and gentlemen.
Sure thing. Okay, guys. Now, the SHR Media Network is affiliated with the English Defense League radio show, and they have a lot of really great shows on that network in the United States, a lot of great hosts. You heard Jeff talking earlier about how each of these, especially these conservative talk show hosts, has a little bit of something different to bring to the table, okay? And you have a lot of great hosts like that on the SHR Media Network. One of them is actually running for the mayoralty of the city of Baltimore in the United States. That's Pastor Shannon Wright, okay? And this is the kind of thing that you want to be listening to instead of the BBC or, any of these other people. It's great stuff. And my stuff, by the way, can be heard on the Unpleasant Blind Guy page at Spreaker.com, and that runs through SHR Media. I can also be heard on the SHR Media YouTube page, where you can also find a number of these great programs that you're about to hear about, and I'm available on the Western Free Radio Network. My show times are 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and that's 6 p.m. in the UK, and midnight Saturday, and that is 5 a.m. in the UK. But we're going to be listening to a little bit of a highlight of a few of these great other shows that are on the SHR Media Network right now. It's going to take about 3.5 minutes. So here you go. You are listening right now to the English Defense League radio show. And here we go.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini.